Okay, so to back the hoop, I have a finished embroidered fabric and I have a backing fabric, both of which are set to you as well. So here I have my hoop. It's a 6-inch hoop. First things first, I'm going to make sure that the print that's there faces back and the back side of the fabric is facing me. And now I put my embroidered fabric on it, adjust it, stick my hoop frame back, and lock it tight. Obviously, this is the final time you're going to be removing the embroidered fabric out of the hoop frame. So you want to back it as nicely as possible, and you want to keep it as tight as possible because you won't be removing it once you have this, right? So that's tight enough. I can't open it anymore, or sorry, I can't pull the fabric anymore, and I just need to make sure that from the top of the hoop my design is straight and it's not crooked, which I think it is, but I'm not quite happy. So just gonna try and move it a little bit to the side. It's okay, take your time to do this because this happens quite often. Before you finish locking it, you just want to make sure that you're happy with how the design looks, because once you hang it on the wall or you place it somewhere, you don't want it to look wonky. Okay, so now I think I'm quite happy with it. As you can see, it's all done. It's tight. Now, what I'm going to do is, in the back, I'm going to cut this in the same shape as the fabric. So I'm just going to get rid of my fabric shape wasn't square, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to cut it round. This is just the backing fabric now, not the fabric on which the embroidery is already done. Okay, that's done. Now I always have a little dustbin of some sort to put my stuff in, just so it'd be a bit clean. Okay, so this is how it should look. So both the backing fabric and your embroidered fabric are round in shape. Okay, so now I have a needle and thread already in. The way I measure my thread for this is I just hold it around the hoop to make sure that if I went in full circle, I should be able to join the thread, because that's important. Now what we're going to do is turn the hoop around, place it down, and start stitching from the back. So I'd go as far as possible, so there. Okay, so I do a big stitch inside and a small stitch on the outside, the length of the stitch, really small on the outside, just to make it look tidy, but it's up to yourself. Some people prefer to back their hoops with hot glue gun. You could do that if you like, but I personally don't prefer it. I just feel it's a bit messy, and I'm also kind of always worried that the glue might eventually just wear off. So I prefer this. This is easy, simple, and it takes no time at all, to be honest. It's just the time that is taken is to fix the hoop frame mainly. And once you're happy with it, you just keep stitching. So this is how it should look on the outside. So length of your stitch should be small on the out and wide inside, just so you can get done quicker. If you prefer, you could also hold your fabric and just go like that, pushing it in and pulling it out. But I think this is a bit tough. I just prefer doing this. Okay. Okay. Nearly there. It's okay if your stitch is a bit, if it's slanting a bit, no problem. You won't even get to know once you have finished it. So don't worry too much about keeping the stitching straight or anything like that. You can find a lot of videos online about backing a hoop and go with what you're most comfortable with. But this is the method I prefer. There could be a method that suits you better. So I'd suggest go look up online. Okay, so now we've reached a point where I'm meeting the first knot, basically where I started my stitch from. So that's it, I'm not going to stitch anymore. I am just going to lock it here. So what I'm first going to do is hold this thread and pull it so it's tight and everything's just going to lock properly. I just want to make sure that this is as tight as it can get, as tight as possible. Right? Oh, just poke myself there. Okay, so now I'm just going to make a little closing knot here. That's it. So just the needle into the fabric, just pull that out and take the needle into the loop. That's it, that's secure now. You don't have to do anything else. And lastly, I'm just going to cut some. I'm going to make sure that I leave some thread when I cut and just tie another knot just to be sure. I know it won't open up or anything like that, but I just like to make sure that it's nice and secure. Okay, so like that. Now that's done. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a big scissor and cut the edges off just to make it look a bit nice. Basically trim the edges. What you need to do here is make sure that you actually don't cut the thread. Okay, that's done. Okay, there, the little hoop is secured tight.